Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. Crazy day in the Valorant world yesterday as North America took down EMEA in both matches back at Champions. Loads of reaction to this one and many guys including Shrouds saying what is even going with EMEA? These guys are pretty terrible. EU easily upset. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Just to mention this real quick actually from Natured and 100 Thieves. They managed to qualify for the LCS thing yesterday. I don't really follow League of Legends, but this is interesting nonetheless, just because, like, look, League of Legends, Valorant, Riot, similar type of story. Probably this gives further weight. We're pretty sure 100T will get in anyway to the partnership side for next season, but this probably adds even further weight to that indeed being the case, just from their caliber as an organization. This also to mention though, because last night, of course, Ye and Chamber, good duo happening again. The nerf happened for Chamber. Many wondered going into Champions, would it really change the meta to a certain degree? Would Chamber get significantly worse, less used? And, even Ye himself at the time thought the Chamber was basically ruined after the nerf. Turns out nothing really has changed. As Leaf says here from Cloud9, nerf seems to have done a really good job for Chamber. Can't see him being played on any map really, right? Effectively, being rather sarcastic here because Chamber is seen all the time and Chamber is still the dominant force. He's maybe getting picked slightly less than he used to in some occasions, but he's still got like a good 65-70% pick rate, the highest picked agent in the entire game. FaZe actually right behind him as it stands. So Chamber's still very strong. Honestly, I don't necessarily mind it so much. I think he's entertaining to watch, but it does seem like the nerfs that they have brought in aren't exactly the ideal ones. And these were some of the numbers yesterday. I think 715,000 viewers for the Liquid versus OpTic game they managed to hit at the end of the day. Pretty decent numbers, honestly, for this part of the tournament. OpTic does still bring some viewership to a certain extent. Good match, all things considered. OpTic, of course, did not exactly have the support of the crowd in the venue, and Ye was saying, look, kind of wish we had a bit more support, and maybe going back to a North American event, right? I feel like it's only a matter of time until they actually have an event in North America, especially if the kind of results here really will dictate exactly what things are looking like, because many people have said coming into this event, okay, wow, Edward, for example, the Chinese team, or, DRX could, of course, very much still win the Korean guys, but also EMEA have done much better than North America in general, and, NA, nearest airports, this type of stuff. It looked like it was pretty tough for North American teams. However, this event's been looking rather good for them. Of course, 100 Thieves almost could have qualified as well out of their group. XSET made it through in stunning fashion. And obviously, of course, our OpTic are almost certainly one of the best teams in the entire world still as it stands. Yesterday, I thought maybe Liquid would win just because the kind of, the curse, right? The EMEA curse that OpTic have. I don't know, when the last time before this was they ever beat a European-based team, but it was a long time ago. And it was not looking good for them at all on the first map here on the Breeze, right? Disgusting shot here from Jampi, but weird situation that OpTic keep playing this Breeze that really hasn't worked out for them at all so far, to be honest. And they got completely crushed on their offensive side. The shots that were coming in were pretty ridiculous, and Scream takes down the final kill. Liquid honestly were running away with this game. OpTic made a bit of a comeback, but wasn't to be in the end. But then game 2, Victor was making plays here on the Bind, a great map for OpTic. OpTic managed to bounce back and tie this series at 1-1. So I thought this would be a close series. Of course, Liquid, good team, but maybe not the best of EMEA, but even the best of EMEA is getting taken down by the best of North America as it presently stands. Good play from Victor. The crowd, honestly, the crowd was pretty immense in favor of the guys from the European side, as you might expect. It's interesting, really, how much that matters, because often when you've got a home crowd advantage, that can be some sort of advantage, but often some of these guys can feed off the energy to a certain extent. And also, I think we saw it in the Alpha kind of situation with Fnatic that, maybe the pressure gets rather high for some of these players, which of course is understandable. But look at that for Victor, man. Honestly, fantastic stuff. 5-0 advantage for OpTic at this point in the map, and then it quickly became a more significant advantage than that. Liquid did their best to try and bring it back. Crashies went down to Soulcast, and actually, Scream made a great play, even picking up the operator. If you guys know anything about CS, you'll know that Scream with the AWP is not exactly on his top form, but he picked it up, got a couple of good kills, but in the end, OpTic win the series and take it down. The crazy thing about this actually was from the OpTic side, that apparently Crashies had food poisoning again. We talked about this a few days ago, that it was a major concern for many players, and of course the entire teams and the entire event, that many players were getting food poisoning from whether it was the hotel food, the venue food, or whatever, the water, who knows. And apparently it's happened again. Crashies was throwing up between matches, and he still was able to come along between maps, I suppose, and is still able to come along and deliver a great performance. And Ye, though, individually was absolutely absurd. FNS and the OpTic boys broke the curse, but but I mean, Ye is just like so hard to stop. It's actually ridiculous. His first blood rate especially, like of course his pure numbers in terms of like the actual damage that he does is also ridiculous, but like his first blood rate was 17 out of 20. So he was 17 in 3 in first bloods. So he got into 20 first blood engagements. He won 17 of them. Now usually on chamber, it's going to be a bit higher than average anyway, because it's kind of an agent that is aligned rather well for that, even though he's a sentinel technically. And I think his first blood rate in the entire tournament is something like 34 in 8, or like something just absolutely ridiculous over the entire tournament so far. So I mean, even in that match, he had so many first blood engagements and won pretty much every single one of them. So the amount of impact that he had was just ridiculous. But as it turns out, Ye is not the only superstar player from North America, even as Ethan says, NA looking kind of nice after that result. But then things got even better for North America after this series up against Fnatic. Like, yeah, my predictions so far in this playoff bracket have not been particularly good, but I did say XSET would beat Fnatic, and I actually managed to get it right here. But like, I mean, yeah, Fnatic looked unbelievably lost in this first part of the map here. I mean, look, AlphaJair, he had a lot of pressure on his back from the home crowd. They were doing the chants. Great to see, right? The chants were there. Of course, they want to support their home boy and, you know, the European team and the Turkish player, of course, in AlphaJair. So it makes sense. But look, at the end of the day, it was not looking so good. And I don't know what Boaster was playing at. It was honestly like an absolute mess here, what these boys were doing. Fnatic, they looked so lost on Pearl early on, and XSET were just way too strong. And, you know, Dephh was just outplaying Boaster pretty hard, the battle, I suppose, of the UK IGLs. But, I mean, yeah, like, Dephh was just reading him really hard. Yes, Fnatic did make a bit of a comeback, but Cryo is, like, in that position specifically, Cryo is just so good. And I think this was kind of one of the key points, really, that people were making, is that, wow, like, XSET really do have some superstar level players. We know what happened last time out at Copenhagen. They didn't get the result they wanted. They, you know, they really failed to deliver. But we saw BCJ saying recently that the mental resilience that they now have is the strongest they believe of any team in the world. And honestly, you can kind of buy it based on a result like this. Like, they really turned up, these guys. Their star players delivered. BCJ played great. Dephh was making the right calls. And then Zekken and Cryo, the star players, like, they were the ones just delivering the frags, right? And it was Zekken generally in the group stages doing it. And then it was, well, so far it's been Cryo here in the playoffs, right? And even as Hayes says, I'm not trying to push this EU versus NA narrative, but real talk, Fnatic look horrible on Pearl, right? Fnatic, one of the best, second best team, whatever, European team in the world. And they got completely outplayed on this map, to be honest. Then it went to game 2, where again, Fnatic had a nice early start. It looked like they were probably going to win this map, take it at least to a game 3. But XSET brought it back to a 7-5 half. They then brought it back to 9-9. And again, the playbook was just running dry for Fnatic. They did come up with a couple of new ideas at the end after a couple of timeouts. But like, I mean, yeah, Cryo doesn't miss. Zekken was making plays. Like, everyone on XSET was playing incredibly well. BCJ had his moments as well, which is great to see from him. And yeah, as it turned out, 11-11 quickly became 12-11 in favor of XSET, and then they won the series right then, right there. So unbelievable. To 2-0 Fnatic is a hard feat on its own, let alone for XSET to do it after certainly not being the favorites in this one. I mean, Turko was making some great plays, but it wasn't to be in the end. They had the crossfire set up for him. And just a couple of reactions I wanted to share for this from, you know, Tarek and, you know, Shroud especially, and well, in reaction to that round that we just saw, saying like, what is EU doing? And North America for now are on top.
Oh wait, they did. What the
XSET with a great idea here, Fnatic.
They trapped us in tower with our buckies.
Look at the flank, Dephh. Oh my goodness.
Watch arcade flank.
No.
Oh my god. What?
Cut out.
Movement. Still dead though.
What? Oh my god.
Oh my.
What the f is you doing?
Hold on. Wait, sorry.
Numbers going back their way. Turko on the tap.
He's like not on.
He gets onto Zekken. Can they bring this back? Turko not able to get anything.
Oh, they've done it!
Hushed.
Oh my god! Lower bracket, EU bracket! Actually!
An EU bracket?
Holy.
Silencing.
The lower bracket is EU LCG.
Say what?
Alright guys, I gotta go. GG.
18-11 for Cryo. 16-10 for Zekken. And it's them who lead the charge through this round, through the all-important round where they take the lead.
Ho ho ho!
Why so quiet?
Oh!
Not like that.
And these guys were bigging it up for the fans as well, right? Because, you know, telling them to shush a little bit and coming in front of the fans and, I mean, yeah, doing the fist bumps. But, I mean, yeah, wow, it was a pretty hostile environment, to be honest, in there for these guys. Mr. John Wick here, like, you know, what a performance from him on the coaching side. Honestly, like, yeah, they weren't having a particularly happy time in the crowds. But, you know, rep the set, I suppose. It's good to see the rivalries, and I meant maybe even OpTic, I suppose, will be kind of favourites in that series. They shall play next in terms of who the crowd is going to favour in that one. But, yeah, NA over EU. What do you guys think about this? Is it early doors? Because we saw early on in this tournament, like in the group stages, that the European teams are having a bit of a harder time, and then it turned out they got out of the groups, most of them regardless, without too many difficulties. But yeah, now into the playoffs, both NA teams beating both European teams yesterday, that's quite the statement. And, you know, who's actually going to win this event? Because both FPX, Fnatic, like, they've all looked vulnerable so far, and many of them will go after the tournaments much earlier than they expected to. Zekken's like, look, I'm never going to eat out again, bro. I'm setting the world record for the most death threats received after a win. Like, yeah, they definitely were getting on the wrong side of the crowd, but even our perspective here from FPX, EMEA overrated, right? Saying like, yeah, we haven't been particularly good so far, gotta turn it around, because can't let North America win champions, right? After, of course, you know, Europe won champions last year with Ascens and cNed, who was actually in the crowds, and even VALORANT reckons give NA 8 slots for partnership, because, of course, well, the 10 teams right next year in the partnership league might only be 6 or 7 from NA. He reckons maybe 8 and just give like Loud a spot and Crew a spot or something and call it a day there. So I'm sure that's going to be a controversial perspective as well. But this is now how the bracket shapes up. So OpTic took down Liquid, XSET took down Fnatic. That sets up an OpTic XSET upper semi-final. That means at the very least there will be a North American team at third or better in this tournament. So that's what's going on tomorrow. But today is these losers bracket games. FPX versus Leviathan, Liquid versus Fnatic. So honestly, I don't know how to call this. I might take Fnatic over Liquid just, but I think generally they have a better time in domestic region. And then FPX Leviathan, like, I don't know, Leviathan looked a bit shaky to me against Loud. So I think I'm going to go for the EU bounce back today, but yeah, far from guaranteed. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Valorant community. Thank you as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.